Brazil is the biggest country in the world. It has a population of 212 million people. Alright, I'm done. Brazil. Stop! Brazil is like South America's Pikachu. When old people think about Pokemon, this yellow rat is the first thing that pops up in their head. And when people outside of South America think about South America, two things pop into their head. Immeasurable joy in the form of people perpetually dancing in the street and extreme poverty. And Brazil is a beautiful mix of both things. But first things first. Brazil is the biggest country in South America, and it's the only country that doesn't have Spanish as its official language. Instead, they speak what us white folk call Portuguese. It borders with every country in South America except Chile and Ecuador. In the year 1960, they changed their capital from Rio de Janeiro to Brasilia for logistical reasons, and not necessarily because of political partisan conflicts like in Bolivia. But that's a topic for another video. Brazil has one of the 7 artificial wonders of the world with the Christ the Redeemer statue in Rio. It also has 2 of the 7 natural wonders of the world with Iguazu Falls and the Amazon. Not that Amazon. This Amazon. Brazil has 1/3 of all the tropical jungles in the world, and because of that, it's the most biodiverse country in the world, which is just big brain speak for it has a bunch of different animals and plants and stuff. Brazil is one of the world's leading producers of coffee and sugar in the world. In 2007, they counted 67 isolated tribes that have no contact with modern life. Ever heard of a smartphone or a shoe? They haven't. I got a joke for this. What does a smartphone and a shoe have in common? That they were both made by an 8-year-old kid in a Chinese sweatshop that makes 2 cents an hour while his boss whips him. We have Brazil to thank for musical genres like samba, lambada, and the beautiful, lovely, and wonderful bossa nova. It has a very diverse cuisine with dishes such as... arcaje, feijoada, mocoeca, rice with pequi, tacacá, vatapa, the churrasco, the burrito, that's not burrito, the cachaza, and the caipirinha. They also broke a bunch of world records. The biggest house made out of chocolate, they have the most planes flying upside down at the same time, the world's largest bag of dog food, they had the biggest sandcastle, the biggest papaya tree in the world, the largest river, the soccer team with the most World Cups, the Brazilian Rodrigo Costa surfed the biggest wave ever surfed in Portugal, Neymar had the fastest goal in the history of the Olympic Games, and they also had the record for the most dogs attending a movie screening. I also read, but couldn't confirm, that if you commit a crime during a weekend or a holiday, that counts as an aggravating circumstance when going to court. What did you do? I was hungry and I stole some food, Your Honor. Oh, okay. I'll let you off with a fine of 500 reales. Thank you, Your Honor. Wait, when was this? Yesterday? But yesterday was Sunday. Yeah? You're gonna die in prison, you son of a bitch! The Ilha das Cobras, or the Cobra Island, is an island that's full of cobras. It's also illegal to go there. On the island, there's a super venomous species of snake, and there's estimated to be at least one of them for every square meter. Brazil has the biggest Japanese community in the world. I mean, aside from Japan. At the beginning of the last century, more than 15,000 people came from Japan. Most of them stayed in Sao Paulo, where they created colonies and towns. Today, those first 15,000 were estimated to have had 2 million descendants living in Brazil. And of course, you can't talk about Brazil without talking about the Rio Carnival. In 2011, it was estimated that more than 5 million people went to the carnival. The parade is composed by various groups called samba schools. The samba schools spend all year preparing everything for the parade. Every year they choose a theme that represents them while they try to restore Brazilian customs and traditions. If you want to go there next year, a ticket can cost you anywhere between $24 and more than $764. And that's if you buy one right now, 7 months prior to the parade. Okay, so we saw everything cool about Brazil. Now let's talk shit. Brazil is the most unequal country in America if we're talking about income. According to the Gini coefficient, it's more unequal than most South African countries or countries where governments have most of the money like Venezuela. But one of the most impactful things is photos like these. On one side of the wall, you have club owners planting trees so rich people can go play tennis and not have to think about the icky poor people who are starving to death on the other side. Brazil was also the last country in America to abolish slavery. They did it in 1888, decades after countries like Argentina, Chile, Peru, Ecuador, Colombia. They have a martial art that's called capoeira. It's a weird martial art because the art part is very prominent. To practice capoeira, a bunch of people get around in what they call a roda. A typical roda is made by a bunch of people, some playing instruments, some singing and clapping, and in the middle of the round, there's 2 fighters that spar with each other for a while until someone else comes in. This martial art was made by slaves that needed to train for fighting without drawing the slave owner's attention. That's why the fighting can look so dance-like and acrobatic. Drug traffickers can act more like policemen than actual policemen. I have some friends that lived in Brazil for years, and if you live in a poor neighborhood, seeing some dude walking around with an assault rifle is not weird or sporadic. And in Brazil, 50,000 people die by homicide every year. But hey, don't worry, they got the record for the most dogs watching a movie about dogs. And that's it. Thanks for watching this vid. It's actually not mine. I'll just be the English dub voice actor for the talented Falso Faku who does literally all of the hard work. But if you are interested in my work, I'm a pixel man who does gaming video essay content over at Slippy Boy. Alright, see you in the next vid. Bye!